All right, so we're looking at day 2 from our study guide. This is on complex numbers, so we need to combine our like terms here. So we have like terms with the -4, the -1, and that's it. -4 plus -1 is -5. Okay, and then you also have like terms with your i's. All right, -i plus 7i is 6i plus 6i is a 12i. So this should be -5 plus 12i for your number 11. For number 12, this is -i plus 7 minus 4i minus 2 plus 8i. Biggest thing with this is your negative sign right here has to get distributed into both things in the parentheses. So this actually becomes -2 minus 8i. Okay, so that is now gone. This is going to get copied down. All right, and again, we're adding our like terms. So 7 added with -2, that's going to give you a +5. Okay, we have -1i, -4i, -8i. Add all those together. All right, that's going to give me minus 13i for that one. Okay. 13. So let's look at 13. 13 is -4 plus 5i plus 3 minus 5i plus 2 plus 5i. Okay, so again, looking at all my like terms, -4 plus 3 plus 2. Well, that's just a +1. 5i and -5i cancel, and then you have another 5i on the end. So 1 plus 5i is the answer for 13. Okay, let's look at number 14. All right, 14 is -2 minus 4i. Okay, minus -5 minus 2i minus -5 minus 5i. So in this case, I have 2 parentheses that I need to distribute the negative through. So I'm just going to rewrite the first plus -1 times -5 is a +5 plus 2i. All right, again, over here, both of these are going to change to be positive. So we have +5 plus 5i. And now this line turns into the same type of problem that we just had. Right, so you have -2 plus 5, which is 3, plus another 5, which is 8. -4i plus 2i is a -2i plus 5i is a +3i. So this one's 8 plus 3i. Okay, 21. So now we're getting into the multiplication. So we have 5i and 3 plus 4i. So this 5i has to get multiplied by each piece. 5i times 3i is 15i. 5i times 4i is 20i squared. Okay, we have to remember that I squared is -1. So this is like saying 20 times -1. And 20 times -1 is -20. So this could be written as 15i minus 20, or it's actually appropriate to write the I on the end. So this would be -20 plus 15i. That's how you write these complex numbers. Okay, so the I has to go on the end of the expression. All right, 22. 22 would be solved the same exact way. All right, you should get 40i plus 48i squared when you do this multiplication. Again, this is like 48 times -1 right here. So we get -48 plus 40i for 22. All right. Let's skip up here and let's go to 25. 25 is just writing out this parentheses twice. That's what that squared means. So we have negative 3 plus 3i, and we're multiplying this out. So you could either do where you do negative 3 times each and 3i times each, or you could do the box, whichever method works the best for you. But I'm going to just multiply this through. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Negative 3 times positive 3i is a negative 9i. Positive 3i times negative 3 is another negative 9i. 3i times 3i is a positive 9i squared. Okay? 9i squared, 9 times negative 1, this is like having a negative 9 on the end. Okay, so you have a positive 9, a negative 9, they cancel, you get 0. Negative 9i minus 9i, that gives you negative 18i plus 0, but we don't have to put the plus 0 on the end. It's just negative 18i. Okay, 26 should be solved the same exact way. Negative 3 plus 6i, 5 minus 6i. Okay, again, negative 3 times positive 5 is negative 15. Negative 3 times negative 6i is a positive 18i. 6i times 5i is a positive 30i. 6i times negative 6i is a negative 36i squared. Okay, so my I squared, negative 36 times negative 1, that's going to give me a positive 36 on the end. So we have negative 15 up front. All right, plus I have like terms with 18i and 30i. That's going to become 48i. So negative 15 plus 36 is going to give you a 21 plus 48i. That is the simplest form of that. Okay, moving on to number 1 for the inverses. For the inverse, all we have to do is swap the x and y values. Okay? All we have to do is swap our x and y values. So, for this, I'm swapping the x and the y. So 1, negative 3 becomes negative 3, 1. Okay, the next one, 3, negative 2. 1, 5. And then 4, 6. So we would do number 1 and 2 the same exact way for the inverse. Let's look at 2 more. I'm going to do 6 and 7. So y equals negative 8x plus 16. All right, if we swap the x and the y's, x equals negative 8y plus 16. Now, all we're going to do is solve this for y. So we're going to get y by itself again. So I have to subtract 16x, and then I'll divide by negative 8. So this is just going to be x minus 16 divided by negative 8. That's going to get y all alone by itself. Okay, and the last one for number 7. This one has a fraction in it, 2 over 3x minus 5. So again, we're going to swap the x's and the y's. Well, for this one, the first step would be to add 5. And then we have to multiply by 3 and divide by 2. So this is going to be x plus 5. All right, we're going to multiply by 3 and divide by 2. So we're just flipping that fraction. That would be the inverse of this equation.